people saying black people can't be racist. And this is an unpopular opinion. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I don't believe that black people can't be racist. By definition, there's nothing there that states black people cannot feel superior to other races. And that ties into what we were talking about in some of the stuff that's been circulating where black people are saying, you know, deport those Mexicans, blah, 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 blah. That's racism if you feel superior to someone based on their race in any form.
Exactly.
Period.
And I agree with that, because the thing is like this. Like I said, you know, if they go at one, you know, if you allow oppression in one form, it'll pop up in other forms. It's not. It's you know, hatred. What people have to remember is that hatred is an energy. You know, it has to have something to hate. So,
right.
To sit there and believe that it only affects one person, no, it may not affect you in the same way that it affects them. You know, but it does affect all eventually. I mean, you know, oppression is oppression. You know, poor is poor, and I don't think last time I checked, poor hasn't had a color. You know what I mean? So,
right.
You know, people tend to forget that. Now, I will express, you know, in my opinion, you know, when we were speaking on, you know, putting the Mexicans out and everything, I've always felt like that was a media trick or a media play, you know, for us not to really, especially for blacks to feel the way that they feel towards Mexicans. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, they kind of get the same treatment. It may not be as, you know, severe, and then again, I can't say it's not. You know what I'm saying? But
right. We don't walk in those shoes. We don't walk in Mexican people's shoes, so we can't do that.
No, I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, it's not that severe as us, because I can't really say what's happened to them. You know, I mean, I could say this, you know, from ones that I have talked to, I mean, their path is like, you know, pretty, you know, it could be pretty rocky itself. You know what I'm saying? So from the ones that I've spoken to, but I've always felt like
most definitely.
You know, and I've always felt like we was tricked into it, because the one thing that people always would throw up is like, well, you know, they eat up off the welfare and everything, and I kind of got an issue with that, because I'm figuring if you're illegal and you're over here and you don't have an ID, then how you going to get all this? Now, if I'm wrong, I would love somebody to tell me or explain this to me how this works. But, you know, I'm figuring if you don't have an ID, you can't get food stamps and all of this. But the one thing I will say they will do, when they do get here, they build together. You know, that money that money doesn't, you know, go back into Wall Street per se. You know, it may do in taxes or whatever, but, you know, I grew up in a place in Nashville called Antioch, over by Richards Road. And if anybody that's from there, you know, or is hearing this that's from there would know what I'm saying. Like right now it's Little Mexico. Like there's Mexican pawn shops. I've seen Mexican churches. Well, I don't want to say Mexican. I'll just say Hispanic, because I don't want to just, you know, label it to one, you know, group, you know. But, you know, I've seen Hispanic grocery stores and things of this nature. And it's like they put their money back into themselves and build their own empires. And it seems to me that, you know, that would be the way to go for the black community. I mean, a lot of people miss over Black Wall Street. You know, we something that wasn't taught in school, so it's easy to be missed over. And if there's anyone out here that doesn't know about it, you should go and research that. Black Wall Street, it did exist. It was in Oklahoma. Burnt down to the ground, 600 homes. It was a great and a bad, you know, great story to it with a bad ending. You know, but it's something that should be looked into
homes.
because, oh yeah, businesses as well. I mean, oh my God.
Businesses, they had their own bus system, their own airplanes. It wasn't just homes.
Oh man. Well, the thing is, you know, they don't even have the number count on the people that were killed. I mean, that's.
Oh yes.
I mean, it's sad in itself, you know what I mean? But it's still something, like I tell anybody, it's something you should look into because, you know, when you hear these, you know, and I'm gonna just say racist, you know, racist people like, yo, they need to leave our country, da 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 da, they're bad for the country. You know, maybe the lower end didn't know what they were saying, but the high end did because these people were building their empires. You know, they weren't trying to go work for Walmart to keep building the pyramid of Walmart. They worked for Walmart to build their own pyramid somewhere else. And I think going forward, this should be the strategy for us. You know, we don't own much. We don't have land. We don't have, you know, we're not even promoted. It's not even promoted to do that. Like our music, you know, you hear hip hop artists in a heartbeat, you know, talk about the diamonds and the cars and the women that, you know, that he's gotten, but not very much do you hear them talk about land or anything that's of real value. You know, I hate to use the term baby boy, but the difference between the guns and the butter. You know what I mean? It's like, you know that butter is going to melt, but them guns are going to, you know, it's going to sustain. And this is what we need to think about is sustaining. You know, if we accomplish freedom, if we accomplish that goal that we're reaching, how do we sustain it? How do we not make this happen again?